This is my e-bike. It's a TDR1572. The company, as far as I know, is out of business, but I bought this used for $230. And it came with brand new batteries. Still does 50 to 60k on a single charge. Everything works. Lights, taillights, signals, everything. The only main problem it had when I got it, down here, the internal charger didn't work. You had to take the battery out to charge it. But I fixed that. It was an easy fix. The plug was just worn out. 48 volt battery package, just 4 12 volt batteries in here with a lock. It's missing the mat, but I'm going to get another one. And the other problem that you can't really fix, besides the loose headlight it had, or signal light, excuse me, it's pretty rusty. As you can see, it's got rust all here. The frame is starting to rust a little bit. It's not so bad, but down here it's really bad. Suspension and that, but suspension still moves fully, so that's fine. And they can be replaced with common parts supposedly, so that's always good. As you can see, the bottom's pretty dirty. But when you're going down the road, it feels perfectly smooth, so that surprises me for a little Chinese thing. It's got quite a few security features. You can lock the wheels, which I never do, because if you take off, forget about it, you destroy the motor, basically. You can lock the steering wheel, if you get it in the right position, that is. Now, you can't move it. It also has an alarm system. It's pretty useful. So that locks the wheel, and this does everything else. That runs the bike, has a glove box. I got 2 emergency kits in there, because you never know. It's got quite a bit of storage space. That's where I temporarily store everything for charging and locking the bike. But I'm planning on making. It didn't come with a trunk, so I'm thinking of just getting some wood, nailing it together, drilling out the holes and bolting it, and all the charging stuff can go in here with a lock, and then this can be used for stuff I'm picking up when I go in the store or whatnot. Because with all that in there, you don't really have space to store anything, unless you have a backpack on you. And that was the only other problem, which I'm not too worried about. It doesn't lock. This key would pop this up, but it doesn't really spring down, because the mechanism in here doesn't work properly. Besides that, it works perfectly. I only did a couple of modifications to make it more visible, especially at night. Of course, we got the reflectors on the signal. I added a reflector on the front. And I added EL wire, electroluminescent wire, all around the bike here. So at nighttime, when you turn it on, the bike's got this futuristic kind of a blue line going around it. And it looks pretty good at night. Sadly, I can't show you because EL wire can't be seen in the day. But it does work. Basically, it comes on, I wired it up in here so that it turns on when you turn the night lights on, so it's not on all the time, wasting battery range. Actually, I did buy something cool. If any of you own something like this, they have an e-bike cell phone charger. All you do is plug it into the charging port. You can charge your bike on the go. Or charge your cell phone on the go, excuse me. And I calculated it. You might lose a half a kilometer range at the most. So, definitely useful. This is extra security. If you switch that off, the bike has no power. So, that's all that is. That's from the previous owner. So working on this bike, pretty easy to work on unless you have to get in here. This is pretty flimsy. All you do is there's 4 bolts, these 2 here, and 2 in the front. The whole seat comes out and you have access to all the wiring. The control unit, kind of like your carburetor. The 12 volt inverter to run the lights, and that's really all there is to it. So, the motor is actually the rear tire. This is the motor. And it spins itself on a spindle. It also has regenerative braking. I think you have to press this to make that work, but it seems to be on all the time, so whenever I let off the gas, it does its own thing, so. The only thing I don't like about it, the digital dash is a piece of shit. Like, absolutely garbage to see in the daytime. At nighttime, it's not so bad. The daytime, it's terrible. You can barely see what's on the screen. But it's got a speedometer, which is off. I'll talk about that in a minute. An odometer. This is a 7-year-old bike, by the way. It doesn't even have 4,000 on it yet. And that's about full. I only went out today for a little bit, 52.2 volts. But in the daytime, it's almost useless. And it shows a little image when you got the signals on. That's really it. Signals, horn, lights, but I always keep it on max because the first setting is useless. And that's parking and then lights on. That's it. What else can I tell you about this bike? That's really it. Like my little image. It's not a bad looking bike from the rear end. The front of it's ugly. The left mirror was broken recently, so I got a new one here. This is off a Suzuki, and I may replace this one soon because it's getting loose. These are the ones that came with it. They're cheap and crappy, so I just got a little 10mm adapter and it worked out perfect. And these are a lot better. They don't flex around, they just sit there. So let's see, doesn't need rego, it doesn't need insurance. Although I do believe that there should be a license for these because I see so many people abuse these a lot, on the road. They abuse the road regulations. So I do believe that there should be some kind of licensing system. It shouldn't be as strict as a moped, but it definitely should be required that you read a book or something and not be an idiot. Besides that, I really got no complaints. Does about 36. I'm thinking that an upgrade to 60 volt might be going a little more than 40. That's about it. So that's the TDR1572. Thanks for watching. Did I mention it also fits perfectly in a small shed? If you're riding one of these, follow regulations. Do not ride around with a bike helmet. Always wear a DOT approved motor helmet for your own safety. And so you don't get a ticket, because you can get tickets on these.